The ancient history of Westeros is full of mysteries that could rival any of the world's greatest legends. As for the Wildlings, or the Free Folk as they call themselves, getting separated from the realms of men is a tale deeply rooted in the land's icy past. Long ago, before the Seven Kingdoms. Thousands of years before Aegon the Conqueror ever set foot on the continent, Westeros was a vastly different landscape. The raising of the wall. It all goes back to the Long Night and the terrifying emergence of the White Walkers. These near-mythical beings brought a winter that lasted a generation, and in its wake came the construction of the Wall. A colossal ice barrier, spanning the width of Westeros, the wall was raised by Bran the Builder with the assistance of giants, and perhaps even the magic of the Children of the Forest. Here's where our northernmost protagonists, the Wildlings, come into play. Being a rather independent and sturdy folk, they found themselves on the wrong side of the wall when it finally went up. Why? Well, could be they were simply living their lives in the true north when the wall was constructed, or it's possible they preferred the open freedom of the lands beyond, and chose not to migrate south. Ultimately, it comes down to a choice, or lack thereof, made during a time of desperation and existential threat to humanity. Cut off from the realm. By virtue of the wall's creation, a whole society was effectively cut off from the rest of Westeros. Thus, forced into a life of harsh winters and constant survival, they developed their own distinct cultures and values, separate from the kingdoms to the south which, over time, formed into what we know as the Seven Kingdoms. The Watch's eternal vigil. The Night's Watch was established to guard the realms of men from the threats beyond the wall, but as the memory of the White Walkers faded to legend, so too did the relationship between the Free Folk and the Southerners become more myth than reality. The Wildlings were deemed savages, while the so-called civilized populace remained ignorant of the raw and brutal beauty of life north of the wall. Living down here in Portland, I can tell you, the idea of a massive wall separating societies isn't as fantastical as we'd think. It only takes a visit to remnants of real-life walls, like the Berlin Wall or Hadrian's Wall, to feel the weight of history and the divisions man has erected over the millennia. The Wildlings were a product of their environment, living in a world where their separation from the Seven Kingdoms became a defining characteristic of their culture. But they also remind us of the resilience and enduring spirit of mankind, thriving in places where others dare not tread. For more on the history of the Wall and the Free Folk, do visit the extensive lore available in A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. https www.georgermartin.com A Song of Ice and Fire series. It's one wild ride through fantasy history that shows how even the most daunting barriers can't suppress the human spirit, which is something we Portlanders, fond of our own unique brand of freedom, can definitely appreciate.